welcome back to Chismes Chingus. Chismes Chingus. Chismes Chingus.
A
was in unison that time. That was cute.
That was a nice
Cute. So if you guys can tell, we are a little on the festive side. This should be our episode that's out right before Christmas. So we wanted to wish everyone a happy holidays. Hope you're enjoying time with your loved ones and eating very good food, because it's my favorite part of the holidays, genuinely. Just the food and
I love that.
All the sweets.
Yeah. As you can see, I mean, my fuzzy mic is covering it, but I'm very festive with my Boys in the Hood t-shirt. I wanted to wear this today. So happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Very Boys in the Hood.
From our family to yours.
Yes. Yay. And also Ice Cube, and I really forgot his name.
Wait. Cuba Gooding Jr.
That is good. That's a good one. Nice memory.
I got it. I loved Snow Dogs as a kid.
That makes sense. I watched just about every Ice Cube movie that came up, like all the Are We There Yet and all that great stuff growing up. So yeah, love this guy.
But for today, we are back with episodes
3. Oh no, of the episode 3 of the podcast, but episodes 4 and 5. No, 5 and 6.
5 and 6. 5 and 6. Yes, episode 3 of Chismes Chingus, but 5 and 6 of Castaway Diva. So we're back with more recaps. So much has happened. I'm really, really excited about it.
Yes, these 2 episodes were really like heart pumping.
They had me all over
so
the
much
place.
Adrenaline, and we're halfway through the drama, because this is a 12 episode drama. Mm-hmm. So we've kind of reached the halfway point. So we're kind of at it's
getting really
climaxy version or portion of the drama, which is really freaking good. I've just really been enjoying this drama. I love the lead actor, Park Eun-bin. 10 points to me. I love her so much, and just her acting does not disappoint. It never disappoints. I really love her acting.
Yeah, no, she's really, really great. She's just so believable, and like you can't help but love her. But I think it was really funny that we had such a hard time taking notes for these, because we were so like engrossed in it that we got through about halfway and we're like, oh God, we need to write stuff, don't we?
Yeah. I was really, really captivated. But honestly, although we had to go back and forth, I kind of really liked enjoying the episode and just like watching it in like 20-30 minute increments and just living what was going on. Versus, we're kind of getting used to analyzing, because you're kind of annotating as you're writing, right? Or annotating as you're watching. Kind of the same concept as a book. So I really enjoyed just being able to just consume the content and be lost in it, and then it's okay if I had to go back and remember what happened.
Because we stopped it and we're like, wait, so what happened? I had to go back to like the beginning and skim through everything, but it was still a really, really good time.
It was.
So we're gonna get started with our chismes portion
for the day.
Of this.
Would you like to go first?
Is it? I was like, what notes did we write? No, you go first.
Okay, I'll go first. So my chismes for the week, heavy on the SF9 is what I'm saying. I have 3 SF9 chismes today. SF8.
Sorry.
Technically SF. No.
Just sensational feeling.
Rowoon is the unspoken member of SF9. They have confirmed it. They have said it. He's in SF9, but not in SF9.
He's not an active member.
Yeah, I think just contractually, he's an SF9. But anyway, so he was the host of the Music Bank Festival in Japan. It was released, or it was filmed, I presume, December 9th. The release date, honestly, I don't know, but
by the time you're seeing this, you will have seen it. If you haven't, go watch it, because I'm sure it's a great time.
Yes. And actually, you sent the clip this morning of Rowoon and Skiz in the same frame, which I thought was really cool. And I actually went on Twitter and I scrolled through other videos, and I saw like a minute or two before, and Banchan reaches out to Rowoon and he goes, buddy, and they like shake hands and they interact. It's really cute. So that happened. I think it was his first major music show MC.
Oh yeah,
as an MC. So that's pretty cool. He's gonna be MCing a lot of different music shows and variety shows. At least that's what's on his schedule. So that was pretty cool. I really enjoyed from the clip that Rowoon is very tall. He's like 6'3", 6'4". So you could see him being very, very tall, and then all the other idols being not very, very tall. I thought that was really cute. My second chisme of the day is also an SF9, but Young released his second track, his second solo track. It's called Happy Birthday.
It's very sweet.
It is very sweet. It's about
very boyfriend.
It's very boyfriend.
Well, it's very brokenhearted boyfriend.
Yeah, it's about a lost love that he wishes he was with her on her birthday. Very cute, very alternative, I feel. Very singy-songy, so I would definitely check that out. Love that song. And my third chisme, which is probably the most exciting, it is speculated because the actual agency or their page has not been confirmed. But the Twitter streets say the SF9 is set to have a comeback January 8th. 2024, almost exactly 1 year since their last comeback, which I believe was January 21st, 2023 was their last comeback. So 1 year later, we have another comeback. And, I know in American media, it's very common for like an artist to have a release, have an album release, and then wait until like 2-3 years until you hear about them again. But in K-pop, it's very frequent. It's very 8 to 9 months, and they do less songs. So they'll release like 8 songs or 4 songs or 7, whereas American artists will release like 10, 12, 16 songs. So we get it. I feel like in smaller bites, but more frequent. So it is actually a very long time to wait a whole year for a second comeback. Or for another comeback. So I'm really, really excited. This would technically be their 13th mini album because it's another mini album. I thought it was going to be a full release, but I speculate, once again, all speculations, that's the chismes, that it's supposed to be another mini album. So I'm excited. This is going to be the first release since Reminiscence in 2021. That has both the leader back in one of the comebacks, because they had 2 comebacks in between where they were gone to the military. So this is going to be a comeback with 7 members. The 8th member is in the military. And unfortunately, I don't believe they're going to have a comeback where all of them are together maybe until like 2026 or 7.
Living your military wife status.
Yeah, my bias in SF9 is in the military. I love him. He's so baby girl and so masculine. I love it. And we were, born on the same day, so naturally I love him.
Twins.
Yes. But yeah, those are my chismes for today. How about you? You want to read it out?
Yeah, I do. Thanks. So to touch on, the reason I wanted her to go first is because I thought it was very important to point out that Rawoon was the person hosting, because I saw that clip this morning and I was like, oh my God, Rawoon and Skiz in the same frame. It was monumental to me because my worlds were colliding. But ATEEZ and Stray Kids did a collaboration stage for Music Bank Festival. They performed, what's the title of the song again?
Because of You.
Thank you. Because of You. I was like, I swear I know. And I do know it, but I forget. So they performed that together, and it was really cute. And it was all over Twitter, just watching them do the little TikTok dance. But that was really enjoyable for me. And then that Young is not my note. To get a little bit on the more serious side, another thing that I really wanted to touch base on is that it was all over the news recently that Minghao of 17, or the 8, as he's known as his stage name, ran into a very, very large crowd of people at an airport in China, and him and his staff, there was very few of them because he was by himself, were pretty much mobbed by a lot of the fans, and they were followed, and it was very concerning. It was very hard to watch the footage. I feel really strongly about those kinds of things because I understand being a fan and like you love them and whatnot, but you also have to, in my opinion, respect that they're people.
He's a human. Like, he could have gotten hurt. Just watch.
Exactly. Yeah. And that was my biggest thing, is that aside from the fact that I'm sure they were scared, because how could you not be scared when you're being like mobbed like that? But it was so dangerous. It could have been dangerous for him, for his staff, for everyone that was there.
Right.
And I feel bad also for just like random people who are just trying to take a regular flight.
Right.
You're like, damn it, 17's going to China again.
Like, yeah, no, it's kind of insane. I'm surprised that he didn't have more security guards. Or
I think because it was just him, they didn't anticipate it. And I don't know, it's always tough watching the airport stuff, just like the way that they're followed and the culture surrounding that. But he did, for the first time that I'm aware of, he went ahead and addressed it on a Weibo live, and he talked about how he felt about it and how it's unsafe for the fans and that it's unsafe for him. And he's like, we need to love each other better. And I really applauded the way that he went about addressing it.
It was so gentle.
It was very, very gentle.
It's
and
stern.
He's like that, at least, my perception of him, that's how he is. So yeah. Very on brand for him, but I am happy that no one did get hurt. At least reportedly, no one got hurt, and he safely made it. Yeah. I almost said faithfully.
Yeah, no,
safely made it to where he needed to go, and I hope that everybody took their butts home.
Yeah, no, seriously.
But on a lighter note, to end our chismes on a light note, a very exciting one at that. YG has officially announced that the ladies of Blackpink, all 4 of them, did resign and will continue to be Blackpink for several years to come.
In your area and in mine.
They better be in my area again. I just want more music and I want more versatility because they're so talented and they're so great and I really love them and they deserve to be able to make and produce more stuff.
Absolutely.
In the way that they want to.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they signed. I thought they were definitely going to disband or take the name or take a version of the name and just make instead of Blackpink be like BP. Like the gas station.
A lot of people speculated that, and I also thought the same thing was going to happen. There was in the limbo of finding out everything, there were people who there were 2 members who did resign already, but then it wasn't clear what was going to happen with the other 2. Right. And so it was just a lot of no one saying anything. So fans were getting really stressed out about it. Absolutely. And are you going to be Blackpink? And they always said that they were going to be Blackpink. That they, even in a documentary, I think or an interview that Lisa did, that I saw separately of just herself, she wanted them so badly to come back together, and that made me really happy that they did get to fulfill that. I just hope that, like I mentioned, that they get to do things more on their terms since they are so big, right? And they are basically, in my opinion, the cash cow of YG.
Yeah, and I mean, and honestly, aside from BTS, they are one of the biggest
K-pop acts
to break into the American market, and that is pretty big. I
They're
think
very global.
Yeah, if you guys are not huge into K-pop, I'm pretty sure you've heard the name Blackpink.
Absolutely. Headlining Coachella. They got a shout out from the king himself at the Royal Banquet in England. Yeah. Those girls are iconic.
Yeah,
and
they are.
They work so hard. I really, really hope there will be bigger and better and things that are more personal to them to come in 2024.
Absolutely.
So as your resident Blink, we're very happy that the girls are continuing together. But absolutely. I think it's a good place to wrap up. Let's move on to the summary.
Yeah.
Do you want to go first?
Yes.
Since you started off? Yay,
I will read.
5.
So episode 5 was intense. I will start with a summary and then we can talk about it because my feelings, just the whole thing, I'm just excited for it even.
We had to keep stop from discussing in the middle of it. We're like, no.
Shut up. Yeah. I agree. So let me turn off my phone because notifications, but we will start the summary. So episode 5 begins with finding out that Kiho's dad followed Mocha to the meeting spot after she received the flowers. When Bogyo unmasks himself, Mocha questions how he knew where to find her because the spot where she met was a spot specific to her and Kiho. When Wookab arrives at the meeting, he notes that the man who delivered the flowers, sorry, I'm going to reread that. When Mokak arrives at the meeting place, he notices the man who delivered the flowers. When he finally gets a hold of Mocha, she confirms that the man who showed up was Kiho's dad. So the man who showed up to their spot and chased her down. He follows him and realizes the place where Mr. Jung is living, which is Kiho's dad, is the same place from his memories. So in the last episode, his memories had been jogged, and he's recalling that it's the same person. He's kind of putting 2 and 2 together. Now we see Ranju recalling her meeting with Sojun. She gets very anxious and decides to call the Emperor of Sugar as the contact that appears on her phone. When Ranju meets with him, we discover that he is a CEO of her old agency. Ranju tries to persuade him to sell her old albums so that she can meet the quota of the 20,000 or 20 million?
20 million.
20 million. And she agrees to consider only if she sings at his daughter's wedding. Mocha successfully passes her driver's test. Yay for her. When Ranju's driver gives Mocha a car for her to use, she discovers the albums that Sojun had bought out. So in the previous episode, we had talked about her not being able to meet her quota because her previous producer had taken everything off the shelf. She immediately rushes to the office to confront him, but the driver stops her. He threatens to blackmail Ranju with the video he took of Mocha sneaking the mic during the performance. So she pretty much tells him that he knows that Ranju's been lip syncing. Defeated Mocha walks home and gets picked up by Bolgyo. On the way home, he talks to her and tells her to add him to his emergency contacts. She tells him it's okay, what if he's busy, when she calls, and his response triggers a memory of a previous conversation with Kiho. So Kiho had told her that pretty much in the first episode when they were kids, when she was trying to escape, she would ask him, she's like, what if it's 2 a.m? What if it's in the middle of the night when I call you? And he goes, I'm a light sleeper. So in this response, Bolgyo says the same thing. He's like, I'm a light sleeper. It's fine. It doesn't matter the time. Come anytime. They run into a drunk Ranju. She lashes out on Mocha when Ranju leaves, Bolgyo helps her pick up the pieces of a ripped up wedding invitation that the Emperor of Sugar, or Mr. Huang, had given her. The next day, Bolgyo comes to her rescue again and drives her to the wedding, so she decides to go to the wedding. Bolgyo notices Sojun is there hours before the wedding and speculates that the reason that he's there is to ensure that the Mr. Huang does not help Ranju by selling her previously owned tracks. So he owns the rights to the tracks. I believe the year was 2007.
Yeah, he discovered her.
Yeah, so he owns the rights to some of her master copies and all that great stuff. Cut to Sojun having a meeting with President Huang. He presents him a contract to make him a member of R&J Entertainment as long as he refrains from selling Ranju's old album. So he's really trying to not have her sell her previous work. He really doesn't want her to reach her quota, obviously. Mocha recognizes President Huang and calls Ranju to beg her to come to the wedding. Ranju shows up at the wedding after lots and lots of convincing and sings a beautiful duet between her and Mocha. I really liked this moment because while they were on the phone, she was like, hey, I'll be your makeup. I'll be your mascara. I'll cover for you. I'll harmonize with you so you can't tell that you can't sing very well. Let's see. Before they leave, Bolgyo asks how the negotiations of the album sales went with Mr. Huang, and the girls realize they completely forgot that that's the reason why they were going to the wedding in the first place. We later see Sojun in the office, angry that President Huang refused to sign with him. Woka comes home and from his stakeout. We see throughout the episode that he's following Mr. Jung since he believes that he's Kiho. He reassures Mocha that Kiho is alive and well, but he doesn't know where he is yet. We see the first responders at a car crash inspecting a dash cam where they are startled by hornets at the time. We assume Mr. Jung caused the accident, and the driver was Kiho's old best friend and the insurance agent from the previous episode. Mocha returns to the family salon to return the outfit that she had borrowed from Mrs. Song for the wedding. And then Mrs. Song says a phrase that rings very close to her. If you wish something hard enough, one way or another, it'll come true. She recognizes this phrase from Kiho when they were kids. So while they were trying to escape, Kiho said pretty much the same thing to her. He said, my mom always used to say, if you wish something hard enough, it'll definitely come true. So she recognizes that phrase. Wook-up enters Mr. Jung's apartment while he is out and revisits the scenes from his memory. He finds a family portrait of Mr. Jung and his family. He recognizes himself, his mother, and questions why Bogyo is also in the picture. We realize that Bogyo followed him and tries to convince him to leave, but Wokap in that moment demands answers. So we have confirmed that Wuhak is Kiho.
Yes.
We have confirmed that Wuhak is Kiho. And I'm assuming this, right? It's not said yet, but I'm assuming because he has the glasses, the portrait and the kid has the glasses, and he's pointing at himself, he's like, this is me.
So that's my thing, right? Is that I don't fully, I get it. It fits. It currently makes sense with all the information that we have, but something just makes me feel off because Kiho, Wuhak, doesn't remember anything before the age of 15. And they have no pictures, no photos, no videos, no nothing of him before that time.
Right.
With his current family and Bogyo as his brother. So how does he know what he looks like? How does he know what he looked like at that age?
Fair. I mean, but I feel like if you see a picture of yourself, you can tell it's yourself. It doesn't matter if it's a child version of yourself. Sorry. I'm gonna bring up a very, very, very random memory.
No.
Only because it's a perfect memory.
You do this to me.
It's not embarrassing for you. It's embarrassing for our brother. So she just mentioned that how do you recognize not a baby picture of yourself? There's actually a baby picture that exists out here. I'm not sure if you feel comfortable enough. But if she does feel comfortable enough, we'll pop it up. If not,
because I look like a little coconut.
If not, you can just imagine it. But my brother and my sister, although they're technically biologically cousins, we've grown up together, so we're siblings. They are both, fair skin, have similar colored hair. So there was one time when my brother was looking through a photo album and pointed at a picture of Izzy and said, "Hey, this is a cute picture of me." And then she's like, "That's me."
I wasn't there. You guys told me the story.
Oh, fail. I obviously remembered it wrong, but it was really funny. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you can't recognize yourself if you look at a picture of yourself. But
he apparently can. Yeah, no, but the thing is, I look at pictures of myself as a child and I know that's me. So yes, I think I look like myself. Different, but I think I look like myself.
Right.
But if you were to have your memory erased, would you recognize yourself as a child?
Who knows?
Some kids don't look the same.
Fair. I mean,
you have the same face.
I do have the same face. Fair, but he recognizes himself and all that.
I thought you meant your brother for a second. I was like, he didn't.
No.
Ruhak recognizes himself.
We're back. Ruhak recognizes himself. And you know what? Like, yes, it's confirmed, quote unquote, that kind of confirmed, or it's assumed that Wuhak is Kiho. But then the conversation that Bogyo had with Mocha and said, "I'm a light sleeper."
Yeah.
So, like, we know one of them is Kiho. We're assuming it's Wuhak just because the glasses would be the only thing. And he's the eldest.
Mm-hmm.
Kiho was the eldest, right?
Kiho supposedly had no siblings when we know him from early on.
Right. We find
out, quote unquote, that he has a brother in this moment.
Right. That's right.
And so...
so that's interesting. And then now that you mentioned it, that's right. We didn't know that Kiho had a brother until
because all we knew when they were on the island is that when his mom abandoned them,
right,
and that's why the father Mr. Jung kept getting so angry at him, like, you're trying to leave me the same way your mother did.
Right.
And I have so many questions about how he found them and how they ended up living in this apartment in Seoul, and there's another son.
Yeah,
and when, so many questions.
When did they go to the island? Like, when did they move to the island?
I think that because supposedly the mother abandoned him,
mm-hmm.
I think that, because we don't know how old Kiho was when mom left.
Right.
So either Mr. Jung is not who we assume to be Bogyo's father,
mm-hmm.
or she got pregnant and realized, I can't stay with this abusive man,
right,
and left at that time. Or
they were separated for some reason.
Like, why would she only, granted, it'd be harder to sneak away with 2 kids, but
right,
like, why would she only take 1?
Right.
If they were both older. Because
right.
Bogyo is not that much younger than Kiho.
No.
Than Wuhak.
Yeah.
It's getting so confusing.
So like I said, one of them is Kiho. We don't know who.
We don't know who yet.
We assume it's Woohak though. Just
currently,
to me, it's the glasses,
it's
right?
the most obvious. I think that in my heart of hearts, I still think it's Boyeol. I don't know how. In the last episode, I shared my crazy theories,
right?
And I don't. Something in my gut just tells me that it's too obvious that it's Woohak. But nonetheless,
you're right.
He keeps having these interactions with Mocha that are just so coincidental. There's these very small nuances.
Yeah.
And if you notice, because I think the direction of the story is trying to point to the fact that Woohak is Kiho.
It could be Boyeol, yeah.
We are having, he's been having less moments with her that reminds her of Kiho as opposed to Boyeol.
That's right.
Boyeol, since that very first moment of them having dinner in the attic, like at the very beginning of them finding her,
right?
He's had more moments with her like that.
True.
So, but she's so confused.
You could be right because in the picture, Kiho looks younger.
Younger than Boyeol? You think so?
In the family portrait, you can notice we tell that one of them is older than the other. So maybe it is Boyeol because it looks like it's an older brother.
I don't know.
So if that's the case, then it probably is Boyeol. But we'll find out. I mean, we'll find out soon, I'm sure.
I have more questions than when I got here.
Yeah.
But let's see, a couple other things that I want to touch on about the episode. I definitely felt some type of way. I was so stressed when Kiho's childhood friend got into the car accident.
Yeah.
Because I thought that what happened when I saw the Hornets in the car, I thought something happened to Mr. Jung.
Right.
So I was very shocked when I saw that he basically initiated this because he had lots of experience. There was a tenant who came to see Mr. Jung and told them that there was Hornets, and he's like, I had lots of experience from doing this on the island that I used to live on. And that's how we know that he put these, or we speculate that he put the Hornets in the insurance agent's car.
Well, no, we find out we find out in the next episode.
I don't remember right now.
No, I'm pretty sure it's this one, or maybe not. No, but
we confirm it in the next episode. We confirm it in the
next episode, I think. But definitely, I mean, even just by the Hornets, like you can tell.
You just know.
You can tell that the dad was the one that did it, and I'm wondering as to like what is the motive, or no, the motive is because he tells them like stop looking for your son. Like it's obvious that your son has moved on.
He keeps trying to talk him out of it.
Looking for him.
Like he's not a kid anymore.
Yeah.
He obviously doesn't want to see you.
Yeah.
So I think you're just going to, he words it in a way that he's like, I'm concerned about you. You're only getting older. You're going to get yourself hurt trying to find him. He's a grown man. What if he doesn't want to see you and he runs away?
Right.
You're going to hurt yourself. And so he's trying to like spin it in a way that he's supposedly on his side, but the father knows. Absolutely. Mr. Jung knows that he's just looking out for his son.
Absolutely. And I'm just, at this point, like, what is your MO? What is your MO?
I don't know what his end game is.
Like, I believe that he's just trying to kill them. Like that, in my mind, that would genuinely be his only, like, I guess not even illogical reason. Like he's just literally trying to kill his family. Like, you can't be with me, you ran away from me, then you can't be with anyone type of thing, you know?
Yeah, this also explains why, though, now that we know what we know about the portrait, this also explains why Boyeol hit his face.
Yeah.
When he showed up.
Yes, because his dad would know,
his father would recognize him, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Another thing I wanted to touch about this episode is we find out that how because you know how Ranju and Mocha are from the same island.
Yes,
we find out that she's been her fan since she was 5 years old. Because when they had their moment with the professor, or not President Huang, we find out that President Huang discovered her, that he discovered her in a choir class in middle school.
She had said that when they had their meeting over dinner, when she tried to convince him to sell her old albums.
That was in this episode.
Right. So what I'm saying is that we knew that he discovered her, but we didn't know how until Mocha
mentioned it. And like, I love that because it's while she was trying to convince her to come to the wedding. Because let me tell you, like, Ranju got stressy depressy after she got really drunk and she felt defeated that she felt like she needed to sing to get her old albums, and she feels like she can't fully sing or she can't hit high notes. I just think her voice just needs, honestly, some training and some exercise, and she should be perfectly fine.
I think that she's afraid because she does at some point in the episode see a doctor and she's like, everything is physically fine.
Yeah.
You should be able to sing. I think it's psychological. And she gets mad at that, obviously.
Absolutely. So she has this moment where she's like in the day spa, and I loved that she was in the day spa and she was like
with her giant glasses.
Yes, just kind of relaxing and trying to drown it out. But while Mocha's trying to convince her to come to the wedding and get her out of this, depressive funk, that's when we find out that she's been her fan since they were back on the island in middle school, which I think is so touching,
I was
so
your
cute.
First fan.
Yeah. So she's like, I believe in you. I believe in you. And there's not a lot of people on her corner. So it's really nice to I feel that genuine, just tenderness between the two of them is really genuine.
I will say that I think the entire incident about the wedding, because it's President Huang's daughter who's getting married and he wants Ranju to sing at her wedding. And hearing Mocha's side of that memory really humanized President Huang for me, because I thought, oh, here's another man that's just trying to take advantage of her, right?
Yeah.
But we come to find out, so he was her choir middle school teacher. He quit his job to make her a star.
Yeah.
Started the entertainment company that they basically built together, and he made her entire career, but he did it because he believed in her.
Right.
And you can see how he gets so stressed out, and I felt so bad for him when he tells his wife, who is so angry at him still, obviously, because he uprooted their entire life in order to make Ranju a star.
Yeah.
And so when he tells him that I didn't get anyone to come and sing for you, she's like, you're useless and whatnot. And it made me really feel for him. So the moment that Ranju actually makes it there, comes on stage and sings with Mocha, you can see the relief on his face. And he apologizes to her for everything he did. He's like, I was stressed and I was having a hard time and I took it out on you when you didn't deserve it.
Absolutely. And you can now really tell, I just think that Ranju's just been someone that has been really taken advantage of her entire career. So she just feels very alone and she doesn't know where to trust, because the man that discovered her, the man that she put all of her faith into as a child, treated her bad. So she jumped one ship into someone that she trusts, someone that was kind, her driver, just to learn. I now know he's not a nice man.
No.
I'm still curious to see
when the greed changed him.
Yes, when it switched, was it always just about money?
I think I think it's not even just money. I think it's his own ambition, because you can tell even from looking back now, at the very beginning of him starting their Ranju Entertainment, that he believed in her, and it wasn't a belief of I want to do this for you. I want to do this with you. It was more of there was this feverish desperation that he had. And I think it was always about his own ambition. And I missed that in the beginning. But looking back on his behavior now, I'm like, wow, because he definitely switched up on her, and it's definitely about the money.
Absolutely. And I feel I just feel sorry for her.
Me too.
Poor girl to have been for lack of a better word, used on both ends, and she just kind of doesn't know who to trust, where to turn. And I feel that it's very, very telling of kind of a lot of the music industry today, because you really
you hear about this stuff all the time.
Yeah, not to cut from the novella, but the Rose sued their previous agency for money issues. We've seen SM get sued a few times for money issues.
Taylor Swift,
yeah,
releasing her new master copies.
Absolutely. Freaking Ashanti. There's so many artists that I guess you go into this music industry as such a young person. It's kind of like college, right? You start college at 17, 18, and if your parents aren't or come from a different country or anything like that, you're kind of trying to figuring out FAFSA and student loans all by yourself. So same concept in the music industry. I know college is a scam, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, same for the music industry.
Just why are you opening up my can of trauma?
Our can of trauma, girl. I owe the government way too much money for student loans. But It's really indicative of the music industry, how you just kind of walk into it very naively. You believe these people
you have a dream.
exactly, you believe that these people are here for your best interest, but you just don't always read the dotted lines, or you read them but you're like, oh, this is definitely achievable, I'll be okay, and you just come to realize that that's just not the point, or that's just not the case,
Yeah.
Something else I really liked, we talked about the accident. I really like the scene that Mrs. Song had with Mocha. You're making a face.
Yeah, because I just thought of something.
Oh, what did you just think of?
Just the feelings that I got when Boyo like picks her up and like saves her repeatedly.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, stop it. You can't be this cute. You can't be this kind. Stop it.
I thought Woohak was hot in the I mean, he still is hot in the beginning, but just Bogyo and his like savior complex is so attractive, bro. Isis has this crush on, what's his name?
My actor husband?
Yeah. Don't tell me. Yes.
Oh, don't tell you.
Yes,
sorry.
Yes. It's okay. Kang Teo. But this actor has just been sweeping you off of your feet, and I completely understand why. He is so attractive.
It makes me angry.
Oh my gosh. But back to what I was saying initially, I really like the way that Mrs. Song takes Mocha in and really, really tries to like make her part of the family.
Mm-hmm.
In I believe the beginning of this episode, at the end of the last one, when Bogyo tells the mom, hey, it was Mr. Jung that, it was Mr. Jung that did the.
It happens in the next episode.
Oh, dang! I'm really getting ahead of myself. Then we're going to talk about
at the end of the episode before this one, and at the start of this one. That's why when Bogyo picks her up, he says, "Add me to your emergency contacts."
That's too. Right. Oh, then that's
the family is like they're adding each other's information for the emergency contact in case something like this were to happen again. Because odds are it's going to.
Yes.
They have each other.
Yes,
basically.
that's the scene that I wanted. I had written down in my notes, talk about the family scene, but I was confusing the two families.
It's all starting to blur together.
Also, just last thing, we learned, or I knew, but Izzy's learned during this episode that if you press your iPhone, well, my iPhone, but if you press your phone.
Because they have Samsung phones.
Yes, 5 times. You get the emergency contact. So she was really excited to learn.
I knew it was a thing, but I didn't know how to do it. So
to learn that.
Wow, really glad I didn't ever have any emergencies.
Of course, in case you don't know, if you're ever in an emergency, if you click your home button 5 times, you start to do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the screen, it gives you a option to call 911. I obviously won't do that because we don't need that.
On a Samsung phone, it's the Bixby button.
Yes. So really cool. Be safe. But with that, we're kind of at the end of episode 5 because now I'm kind of going into episode 6. So let's read the summary so I can share my thoughts on episode 6. Let me pull up the outline for you.
Please.
Episode 6 is packed. So buckle your seats. It's a big one.
The seat. Okay. Episode 6 summary. I'm so confused.
I don't know what part is confusing.
I think we talked so much that I forgot how episode 5 ended.
So episode 5 ended with Woohak discovering the picture.
Oh my god, you know what it is?
Bogyo.
I'm so embarrassed because we talked really long about that point and then we worked backwards in how our discussion went. So I was like, that's not how it ended. That is how it ended. Restart. Okay, so the episode begins where we left off with Bogyo trying to convince Woohak to leave the apartment. Woohak refuses to leave without answers. Yes. Were you going to say something?
No.
Oh, I thought you were trying to get my attention.
No.
So Bogyo tells him everything that happened the night that Woohak lost his memories. We find out that Woohak is in fact Kiho and that Bogyo is his blood brother. During an altercation with their dad, Mr. Jung strikes Kiho with a chair, explaining how he lost his memories. The next morning, Kiho/Woohak makes breakfast for the family. His parents find... I'm sorry, I'm laughing at myself. His parents find his behavior very odd and assume he wants something. Their mother later goes to talk to Bogyo about the conversation Mocha had with her about Kiho. Bogyo admits to her that the bad man that chased Mocha the other night was Mr. Jung. They both decided they will protect her at all costs. We cut to a scene where Ranju is speaking on the phone to President Huang. He tells her that that her previous work is in high demand and he will release her old albums after all. Woo-hak comes to see Mocha to tell her he found Kiho. He's happily married and wishes to support her from afar. Woo-hak assures her that it is in fact Kiho by giving her the flash drive that Kiho saved her music video on all those years ago. Mocha shares her doubts with Ranju. After Woo-hak leaves, she tells her about the phrase Miss Song said to her and how it reminded her of Kiho. We can see how she's starting to become suspicious of the family. Woo-hak's boss later asks him to go to the scene of a car accident that involved wasps. Kiho's this is a mouthful. Kiho's childhood best friend's wife, when he arrives, is pleading to the police that there must be someone or something that caused her husband's accident. Kiho arrives to investigate. The police mention that they believe the wasp caused the accident, but that there was no footage on the dash cam when they went to check the footage. The SIM card was missing, is what it was. The wife explains how she finds this to be strange because her husband is an insurance broker, so it is in his nature to never forget to put the SIM card in the dash cam. We then cut to a scene where we are confirmed that Mr. Jung is the one who caused the accident because he's putting the missing SIM card into a computer to look at the footage of the crash. Or he's searching for something.
Right.
We don't know what yet.
Right.
We are then transported into episode 2 of Haiii, where Ranju is competing with another old version of herself while Mocha is singing for her. At the end of that episode, we find that Ranju will be competing with eun-bin, her previous mentee, the new it girl of Rhythm and Joy Entertainment. Mm-hmm. In the meeting about Haiii, Mocha argues that no one told her that eun-bin would be competing against Ranju, and that this is against the rules. The premise of the show is to compete against yourself, so why is she competing against someone else? Dongnim, which is, we finally put a name because we kept getting confused, is the driver / interim manager of Ranju before Mocha shows up. The one who basically found Mocha for Ranju at the initial festival where they met. So he walks in and asks that eun-bin wishes to pre-record for the live show, and it puts Mocha in a really tough position by continuing to blackmail her with the video of her switching the mics at Haiii's first episode. We then find out why Ranju feels so much resentment towards eun-bin. During her rise to fame, Ranju's fame started to fade, and her full releases started turning into digital singles instead because she wasn't selling as much. In a flashback, we see Sojun telling Ranju to her face that she's no longer the cash cow of Ranju Entertainment and that she's losing the company money. We then cut to a scene where More is getting styled by Ranju's old stylist. She reveals to her that she plans to perform Ranju's debut song during the Haiii face-off. We then have another flashback that reveals that for More's debut album, she wanted to do a remake of Ranju's debut song, but Ranju rejected the idea, and feeling offended, More accuses Ranju of viewing her as a substitute for Mocha, and which she outright says, yeah, you are.
Yeah.
After a conversation with Mrs. Song, Mocha confirms out loud that to Bogyo that she thinks he is definitely not Kiho. We are then taken to Bogyo's office on the day of Haiii's episode where More and Ranju are going to have their face-off, when the lead producer, the former leader of the I Hate Ranju Club, turned to I Love Ranju Club. She had to drop out of producing the show due to her appendix bursting. She's literally calling from the ambulance.
Yeah.
Bogyo has to now be the lead producer and run the show. We cut to a scene where Bogyo and Woo-hak's father, Mr. Song, is secretly trying to smoke a cigarette, but Woo-hak catches him. He admits to his father that he has regained his memories and asks him to be honest with him about where their names came from. Hours before the face-off performance, between Ranju and More, I apologize, Bogyo addresses both artists will be singing live. More gets angry and tries to back out of the show. He tells Ranju and Mocha that they will no longer be lip singing as well. If Ranju wins the challenge, Mocha will be the one to go on stage. And that's the end of the episode.
This episode was packed.
Aren't they all, though?
Packed. But kind of, I like the way that we went back. We started at the end and went kind of back. So to go on that same...
Let's just not confuse me again.
to go on that same road. I really, really liked at the end of the episode, Bogyo pretty much takes the blackmail away from the driver. His name's Dongning. He takes it away because let me see my phone.
Yeah.
One of the most annoying things that he was doing the whole episode with his snobby face was every corner. Like she said something.
Every time Mocha wanted to do something, he would just with the smuggest face.
Oh, it was really getting my nerves. So I'm so happy that by the end of the episode, the blackmail's gone because like everyone knows who was lip singing, and pretty much the girl gets angry because she's like, I'm literally opening a stage for Mocha to debut.
Yeah.
We find out obviously that she's super resentful, right, of her.
She resents Ranju, but she resents Mocha because Ranju was her idol.
Right.
And she was such a big fan and she wanted to be the next Ranju. But Ranju just wasn't having it. And it wasn't right, in my opinion, for Ranju to treat her that way. Fair. But then I can see how it made her a diva as well and made her very jaded.
Absolutely. And I can see both sides, right? Because I feel for Enmore, because imagine being so in love with an idol. Imagine being so in love with an idol and then that's just deflated for you. Like completely deflated.
Yeah.
You have put so much time, effort in you admire this person. It's your role model. And just this stardom, this thing that she had in her mind is just completely deflated because like your idol hates you, or you assume that the idol hates you. I don't think it's so much hate more than resentment necessarily. Just because, I just think it's resentment more than anything else, because obviously Ranju was being put up against the wall. You know, she was no longer releasing actual music. She was being pushed and said, no, now you have to release this because you're not making us any money. So I can also understand Ranju's side, how she would be pissed. It's like, yo, I discovered you and you're pretty much taking my spot.
You're coming in and pushing me out. Exactly. And now to make your big debut, you want to do a remake of my debut song?
Yeah, I think that was a little obsessive. Like
that was weird.
Yeah, I do understand, being an idol and loving and all that great stuff, but I think that Enmore was doing too much. Like, why would you want to remake someone else's idol? Like, that's a little weird. I thought it was she was almost a little too obsessive.
This definitely felt like what's the word? Like payback.
Yeah.
At the fact that when she admits to the stylist that she's going to be performing Ranju's debut song, this is how we then cut to the flashback of that initial conversation. And I definitely feel that it was her getting like revenge on her. Literally moments before all of that happens though, because they had already agreed, the producer, Miss I Hate / I Love Ranju Club lady, she tells Bogyo to give More whatever she wants.
Right.
Because she's the diva, she's the bigger act currently being on this episode, as opposed to Ranju, even though it's about Ranju. But nonetheless, she tells him to give her whatever she wants, just cater to her, whatnot. So the fact that Bogyo takes it upon himself to pull the plug on that, they had approved the pre-recording, and the friend, we've seen him several times. I cannot put a name to him right now, but the one that met Bogyo in college and they founded the beach cleanup foundation.
Yes, now that you say that, yes,
that's in this episode.
Yes, that is another telltale point that could make it Bogyo being Kiho, because he was distraught, obviously, Kiho, when Mocha disappeared into the ocean. So I think it's really cute that he started an island beach cleanup club where college, they would go to exactly. So they would go to in high school. He started in high school. Yeah, he started it. Oh. So they would go to different islands and do beach cleanup in hopes that he would find her, which is freaking adorable.
When they're getting ready for the show and Mocha's all dressed up and ready to go on stage, she starts talking to the friend / producer guy that works at the same network as them that we've seen several times already. And that's when he tells her, because she asked him, I don't remember the reason, but she asked him how they know each other.
Right.
Because they seem very close. And that's when he's like, oh, we met in high school and like we founded this thing together. And we do get a very short flashback to when they find Mocha.
Yeah.
Because it's Woohak's drone.
Yeah.
And then she's all crying and like hugging him and like, thank you for finding him. And then you see Bogyul like run up, and just the look of relief and happiness on his face is so subtle. It's very genuine.
Yeah.
And it was really touching.
So you know what? Yeah. Then I'm leaning definitely more towards it being Bogyul.
I still can neither confirm nor deny,
Obviously.
But I'm sitting in that corner.
Yeah, no, just okay. So now that we've analyzed this episode, I can see how it's Bogyul, because if you notice in the beginning, right, in the first 2 episodes, we see Woohak getting very, very close to, like you said this a couple of minutes ago, getting close to a Mocha, and like some of his mannerisms are like Kiho and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But as like the episodes have been going, we've been seeing that it's Bogyul that has a lot in common. He's been saying a lot of the same things that Kiho used to say. So I and just now that I remember, the look of relief on this man's face when he like sees that she's okay, definitely hints that he's probably Kiho.
Yeah, they're doing a very good job of leaving the audience confused.
Absolutely.
And I'm really enjoying that, because I'm like, I need to know.
I hope that we find out soon, man. I mean, we're halfway through, so I presume it's coming.
There needs to be a resolution with Mr. Jung.
Yeah.
I believe at around the same time that we finally confirm who Kiho is. So it's probably going to happen within very close proximity. But that kind of does lean me to talk about like the beginning of the episode, if you're okay with me jumping around like that.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I was reading my notes of highlights.
So at the very beginning of the episode, you get a brief explanation from Bogyul to Woohak, telling him
we are on the same vibe.
Oh yeah, okay. Telling him about how he got hurt, and he tells him the memory, like, and then you woke up in the hospital. You were out for weeks. You didn't remember anything. We wanted to protect you. That's why we didn't tell you.
Right.
And Woohak is so like persistent or insistent, about like, well, we're adults now, we can fight him, we can protect ourselves, we're not kids anymore, and like we can get our old names back, and there are laws in place now that can help protect us from that. Because Bogyul does explain that it was an issue that he was their father and he was a police officer, so he had literally every law and right to find them whenever he wanted, every time that they left, which kind of stresses me out to think like they kept running from him, and they tried many times, and he found them each and every time.
That's scary.
So now that they've like successfully stayed away for such a long time, he's like, no, I don't want to open a can of worms, dude.
Yeah, no.
Stop trying to find our dad. Stop trying to like regain our names. Like, it is what it is. And then he tells him something that we don't get to hear. You just kind of like tells him the reason why they can't take their names back.
Destroy the family, but he doesn't.
And that's it. There's no other explanation. And then he goes into further detail, but it's not audible for us as an audience. And you just see Woohak's face of understanding, and like, so whatever it is, it has to be something very serious.
Yeah, I can also see. I mean, because that also leads into later in the episode, him having a conversation with his
with their father now, Mr.
With their dad now.
I think it might have something to do with him.
Yeah.
But I don't yet know what it is.
Yeah.
And he was so just like, the look on his face.
Yeah.
When he tells him, I've remembered, like, I know who I am. Can you tell me where our names come from? He's like, what do you mean? You've always, and he tries to deny it. And he's like, Dad, I understand. You are my father. Please tell me. And it just, the feelings.
Yeah. That really made me teary-eyed. Also, something that we noticed is Mrs. Song limps.
Mm-hmm.
And now we kind of know why, or we assume it has something to do. No, we don't assume. We kind of know that obviously she was getting beat up.
Yeah.
Because like just the way in the when Bogyul tells Woohak the story and what happened, you can see that she's thrown across the room by the guy, and you also see that like a chair is literally picked up and is just thrown across Kiho's head, which is Why? And that's the thing. Okay, so this is where it's confusing again because Kiho got hit. Kiho was the one that got hit, and Woohak is the one that lost his memories.
Yes.
So,
well, that's the thing is that he doesn't say, "Why am I in this picture?"
Yeah.
And he doesn't point to himself. He's just standing there, and he goes, right. "I'm in this picture, and so is my mom. But why is Bogyo there too?
Right.
If I'm Kiho." So yes, he's looking at the photo, but he doesn't, or the portrait, but he doesn't specify which kid he is in the photo.
Fair, but we see in the flashback that the dad
he does
Kiho.
Scream Jung Kiho. That's true.
Yeah. So he hits Kiho, and Kiho's the one whose memories are lost. So once again, they're going very back and forth as to who is Kiho, who is Kiho, who is Kiho. So it could be Woohak because Woohak or Kiho got hit in the head with a chair. That's what's shown, and Woohak lost his memories.
Yeah, so I guess during the time that he was unconscious is when they decided once they realized that he had somehow between him getting knocked out, they get away from Mr. Jung. And when they wake up, and when he wakes up and they realize that he has no memories of anything prior to that, like he doesn't even recognize them.
Yeah.
They choose to have new names.
Yeah.
Because prior to that, I mean, there would have been no reason for them to come up with aliases if he was going to remember. Right? So I want to know where Mr. Song came in, where he came from.
Yeah.
Because he knows. You can tell from how he reacts when Kiho or when Woohak is like, I remember everything now. I remember who I am. He's like worried. Nervous and worried. He's like, my son.
Yeah. And I don't think it's necessarily worried because of son, but definitely for their safety. Like, that man is an angel. Oh my gosh. Like, to take in someone like that's obviously in distress. And I mean, obviously men and stuff like that exist, but like, what a kind man.
Just a kind person.
Take in a family that's obviously going through it. He has to have known the entirety of the situation for him to accept the name change and, protect the family. So what a kind man to take them in as well. But I am just excited, one, to find out who the heck is Kiho. And like I said, now
every episode it's like, who's
literally
Kiho?
5 minutes ago I was like, it's Bogyo. But right now that I remember that Kiho is the one that got hit in the chair, it's who knows, man. Oh, also, this is the episode where we find out the dad puts in the SIM card, right? Yes, the dad puts in the SIM card. Is it to look at the crash, or because
we don't not to look at the crash? Yeah. No, he's revising hours and hours of footage.
Yeah,
and he gets we get a reaction out of him when he finds the footage of the episode where we recapped, where we see Mr. Jung trying to sign that insurance policy, and then best friend goes to the car and calls his wife.
Yeah.
And he overhears that conversation. Yeah. And that's when, so he is trying to get some information about what he knows about Kiho.
Right.
Because he can tell that he's trying to stop him from finding his son.
Yeah.
So it's not about the crash per se. I think it's more about getting information about what he knows so that he can find his son.
Yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, I guess we're gonna find out hopefully soon who Kiho is.
I just want to touch a little bit more, and then we can wrap things up on More basically getting her just desserts because she's not allowed to sing or use the pre-recording, and Mocha is very upfront and stern about things, and I feel for More, I really do, but I also feel like she didn't have to be such a mean girl.
She didn't. I feel that she's ending literally the exact same way that Ranju.
Exactly. I think so too. She's following in her
footsteps to the T, and it's really interesting to see that parallel between the two of them. I hope it changes because if not, she's just going to end up unhappy completely. I also, now that you've said touch base on that, I really like that Bolgyo is, I'm really mispronouncing the name, I apologize.
I think that's how you say it.
Yeah. Is how Mocha might get her debut.
Yes.
Mocha might get her debut because if Ranju wins a competition, we get to see.
Because we know while they're hidden,
yeah,
like it's Mocha who's singing, and so she looked like such a princess when they had her all done up and everything. It was really cute.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited. I don't have any like point of reference for how More sounds when she sings. Obviously, she's talented because she's the current it girl, right, of the industry. But I'm obviously sitting in Mocha's corner, and in my opinion, she's definitely going to win because that's the whole point of the story, right?
Obviously, yeah.
And so I'm excited to see her debut.
Yes. Also, one final thought. I really thought it was kind of funny, like Mean Girl on Ranju's end, but kind of like a big FU to Enmore when they come out of the car to do like their hellos, and then literally when Enmore walks out and like takes the attention because Enmore was being a dick, a bitch, for lack of a better word, by coming out early during Ranju's
they come out of the car, they do their photo shoots, and then they go inside, and then the next person comes out. So she did not wait.
Yeah, so she took pretty much Ranju's fire, but Ranju knows what hurts her because at the end of the day, and this is Mean Girl. It's very Mean Girl of Ranju as well because she's using that kind of like as but she knows that Mocha or her being the replacement of Mocha or hearing that all light bothers her.
Yeah.
So how she gets back for stealing her light is quite literally she introduces Mocha to her. She's like, "This is Mocha. This is the girl that should have taken your place," and you can just see the color leave her face.
The smirk that Ranju has, and she's like, "Smile, there are cameras."
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And I was like, "Oh my goodness!"
It was so catty and so Mean Girl. I loved it, but. Ouch.
And you can tell the entire thing is very hard for Ranju, for her to have to face off against More to begin with, and to like accept that she's just not the main event anymore.
Right.
But then even when Bogyo tells them that Mocha is going to go on stage, if you guys win, you're no longer allowed to do the lip singing.
Yeah.
You can tell that it's hard for her because she's going to it's going to be embarrassing for her. Yeah. I worry about her sales.
I worry about her sales. But no, I think somehow Mocha is going to help her. I don't know how, but I know, I presume that
Sojun cannot win.
Yeah, Sojun cannot win, unfortunately. Yeah, I do not want that man to win. He's so greedy. He's so rude. But I can tell because even in that, like in the previews that we saw for the next episode, like she says, like, "I'm not here to steal your spotlight."
Yeah.
And I feel that in that moment when she hears like, "Oh, Mocha's going to be the one that's going to be highlighted," you can tell that just kind of like, "Oh, this is happening to me again." Yeah. So it's a little bit of building that trust, but I hope that they definitely still trust each other because Mocha, that's her girl. That's definitely her girl.
I do think, and you've seen it throughout this episode and a couple of other ones, like especially at the wedding, right? When she tells her that like, "I was your first fan. I was 5 years old. You didn't know yet."
Yeah.
It was the way that Mocha is softening Ranju is very sweet.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you can see, like you mentioned, the parallels in More and Ranju and how just used and abused she was. And that's why she's so jaded and diva-ish. But having Mocha in her life is making her softer.
Yeah, and just a genuine person in her corner. So I'm really excited for the next episode, though. I'm really, really excited. It looks
Mocha
so good.
debut.
Yeah, we get to see Mocha debut. We see her dressed in a pretty dress. So I hope that means that she wins. And yeah, I guess you guys will have to stay with us. Let us know how you're liking this. I really have been enjoying this. Just kind of recapping the episodes and just talking about it. So if you guys definitely enjoy, please leave comments. Tell us what are your speculations. If you've already seen the drama, because the drama obviously already concluded, don't tell us. But if not, if you're watching with us, let us know what you think. Let us know your theories. I wanna hear what you guys think and how you guys feel about this drama.
Yeah, it's been really, really fun getting to watch it together because it's been a long time since we actually sat down and watched one together.
It has been a long time, yeah.
So, like she mentioned, if you are enjoying this, please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Rate us on everywhere that podcasts are found and join the discussion because ultimately that's what we strive to do is to open a platform where people can just get together and talk about a piece of media that we're all enjoying together.
Definitely. Before we exit, though, song recommendations.
Oh, I keep forgetting.
We keep forgetting this part, but
we did it last time.
We did do it last time. I definitely want to continue that just because as someone that is still very new to K-pop, I think we've been K-pop fans a little bit over a year, like maybe a year and a half. I like song recommendations, and it's the best way for me to get into a group, get into something, or just listen to anything. So do you have a song recommendation, or do you need a minute?
No, I got one.
Okay, cool. You can go first while I find mine.
Okay. So I recently did a video over on my reaction portion of my channel to eun-bin. I did one for both for their latest album release, which if you have not listened to eun-bin, I definitely recommend them. They're super, super great. They're a Japanese group. But if you're into the cutesier type of songs, I definitely recommend Dropkick. It's very sweet, very 80s rom-com soundtrack, and it makes me feel giddy when I listen to it. I like it a lot.
I love that. And you know what? I'm going to recommend a song from Haiii. So she's a solo artist.
I love her.
I love this song because I just put it on one of my Instagram stories not so long ago. And it was in my Spotify 2023 Wrapped. I literally went to my Spotify 2023 Wrapped and be like, I'm going to recommend one of these songs because I obviously listen to these songs a lot. But it's called Hanggang. It is a very like, it's like a nice drive on a Sunday morning. You're just kind of cruising to the beach and you're just feeling the vibe. So it's a very vibey song. It's not what you would think like hard-hitting K-pop is, but definitely like a I don't want to get copyrighted, so I'm not gonna whatever.
It's rest music.
Yes, it's very chill vibes. We'll obviously leave the names on here. We'll pop them up so you can see them. But yeah, it's called Hanggang by Haiii. I would suggest that you listen to that.
All right. And then on that note, we're going to close today's episode. Thank you so much for coming and watching or listening on wherever you're listening to this on.
Yes.
We hope that you guys are taking care of yourselves. Have a happy holiday season.
Yes.
And we will catch you very, very soon. Bye.
Bye.